Bill. Hi.
Hello there.
Sir. Let me stop sharing my screen and welcome you here to the Local Wonders Startup Grind edition and series, where we highlight local wonders in the Nashville community. Those who normally are not able to get national and international highlight and publicity, you will be seen on the Nashville Grind website, YouTube, and just want to learn more about you and the wonderful things that you're doing here in Nashville, Tennessee. Sure. So welcome, and I'll just open it up for you to tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Erica. You know, I'm pretty unique because I'm one of those what they call unicorns. I'm actually from Nashville. I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm still in this amazing city. So I'm pretty excited.
I don't call myself a unicorn. I call myself a dragon because I'm a native too.
Oh, you really?
Yes. Yes.
Wait, so
this
where did
is my city? Okay.
No question. Where'd you grow up? What part of town did you grow up in?
Nashville, Edge Hill. Went to Martin Luther King. Went to Meg's Martin Luther King. Let me tell you. Yes, sir.
I went to Meg's too.
You did?
I went to Meg's and I went to Hume Fogg.
Well, yeah. I refuse to go to Hume Fogg. I refused because
too bad for you.
I was trying to change my image. You know, I already was cognizant of things. You see, I said, I don't want to be a nerd and an outcast one more time. You see what I'm saying? I can reinvent myself.
Yeah. So where'd you end up going to college?
Oh, Belmont.
Okay.
Well, I had a splash of TSU. Okay, a splash.
Okay.
So I always will say I did do a little TSU. Then I went to Belmont.
Okay.
Got my bachelor's in business, and then went to Lipscomb for both of the master's degrees, civic leadership and clinical mental health counseling. You?
I went to Fisk University.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So you were a native and also stayed here and got educated here too. Because a lot of people, we are definitely
unicorn.
Look, but I'm a red dragon. Okay, I don't want to be a unicorn because I'm magical and not like prissy magical. I'm kind of ferocious. Okay.
Oh my goodness! And you trip yourself out. Oh my goodness. No, it's all good. But you know, hey, I was born and raised there. I love this city. Like you said, it is my city, and it's exciting to see the growth and the great opportunities that continue to come and present themselves in Middle Tennessee. You know, not just Nashville, but the Middle Tennessee area. And you know, just going to Hume Fogg, going to Fisk, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. You know, and I would, you know what's crazy? I would work these sales jobs. I was pretty lucky. Like I used to get jobs and I would always work in sales. Even in college, I had like the telemarketing job and I was just knocking on doors and selling stuff. I worked at a bookstore and I didn't always work in the bookstore. I would go to trade shows and I would set up and my job was to sell books at trade shows, you know. So I was inundated with the sales arena. And when I graduated from college, I got, guess what? A sales job. I was selling insurance to businesses. And then I got into IT. I started selling IT to businesses. And that eventually led me to starting a lot of businesses on the side, always having a side hustle. But my last job was a business sales rep at Comcast Business, right? And it gave me the idea to start my company, which is Mitech Partners, which was, you know, born while I was an employee at Comcast. So I started this company and I started doing something very similar to what I was doing as a business sales rep. And Comcast found out and they said, listen, you got to stop. We're going to suspend you with pay. And I said, don't even worry about it. I'm out, you know, and that was 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. And so here we are, you know, just grinding, got crazy traction all over the country. You know, over 1,200 customers from, you know, Holiday Inn properties, government clientele, banking, finance, healthcare, all that good stuff, and just moving and growing with our company, Mitech Partners. So I'm excited just to be an entrepreneur in the It City and where a lot of opportunity is here. And we're excited to see what happens in the near future as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. You mentioned working your 9-to-5 as well as being an entrepreneur. Talk more about that.
Well, it's an interesting, it's been an interesting journey because, I see a lot of my friends now, or just people, period, who want to be entrepreneurs, right?
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah. It's always like, it's a fad. It's like, hey, I want to be, that looks cool.
Ooh,
right?
You just said something. It is a fad. If they don't understand, do they?
I don't think most people do understand, because we're in this social media season, so to speak, and people see folks online posting and giving an image of what being an entrepreneur is all about, and it's not necessarily transparent, so to speak. So I think that, and in fact, that's why I wrote this book. I actually have this book on my desk. It's called Get Off Your Assets.
Get off. Okay.
And the subtitle is Before You Leave Your Day Job. So this book is about my journey going from employee to entrepreneur, right? And what I found out was I thought I needed all of these external assets or qualities or connections or resources or money and all this stuff to make my business work. But what I really needed to do was tap into who I was and the gifts and values that I have already, that I've been given. And once I did that and I committed to that, and I was able to thrive as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I think that what most people don't understand is what it really takes to prevail, as an entrepreneur, to take an idea and to get the ball rolling, to get some momentum, and to get knocked down, right? Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? So when you get hit in the mouth, what happens? Do you stay down? Do you cry? Do you blame other people? And quite frankly, we have been conditioned, most of us, to be employees. That's what school teaches us, It teaches us to learn information, regurgitate it, memorize it, and follow directions. And so when we go try to become entrepreneurs, we go with that same mindset. So we have to develop a certain mindset, or I like to call it a certain psychology, a winning psychology, in order to thrive as an entrepreneur. And it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So that's what my book's about. But I think that's what most people need to understand as well.
You speaking my language, because, I'm a counselor, and this is what I see. I see that in entrepreneurs. You said I had to tap into myself. Mm-hmm. Talk about how scary that is.
Well, it's super scary, and most people are not willing to look in the mirror and tap into themselves. They're not willing to cut themselves wide open and say, hey, here's where I'm weak. People at my job, they told me I had it going on. I got a promotion. I'm making 6 figures. I got this title. I got a nice house, a nice car. People look up to me. I thought I had it going on. You don't. You know what I'm saying? You don't.
Wait a minute. What you say?
You don't. You don't. And most people are not willing to admit to themselves that there is some work to be done on myself, right? And so I'll give you an example. I thought that when I was an employee, when I worked at Comcast, I was the #1 in the state among the BSRs, or business sales reps. I was number 25 in the country with Comcast Business. I was making well over $100,000 a year, right? And I thought I had it going on. You know what I'm saying? I had a company laptop, company iPad, a company cell phone, an expense account. You know what I'm saying? I thought I made up my own schedule. Yeah. I thought, hey, you really couldn't tell me nothing. And then I said, you know what, man, I'm going to be an entrepreneur because I'm making good money now, but I could triple, double, I could 10X this money, right? So I see the opportunity. Let's go for it. You know what I had to realize? My work ethic wasn't where it needed to be. My discipline was not where it needed to be.
Say that, discipline.
My self-motivation. So what I had to start doing, because when I worked at Comcast, I'm going to tell you what I used to do. Every Friday, we had a call blitz. Friday from 9 to 11. We had to get on the phone, go to the office, get on the phone, 9 to 11. Call, set appointments, all that. After the call, I was so good at that job. After the call blitz, I would go home and take a nap. I worked 4 days a week, 4 days and 2 hours a week. I was like, man, I don't need to put in 5 days. I'm good. I'm crushing my quote, all this stuff, right? But when I became an entrepreneur, I had to raise my expectation. I had to raise the standard in order to defy the odds. So I had to work 8 to 10.
Stop. Wait a minute. Play that back. One more time. I had to do what?
I had to raise the standard in order to defy the odds.
Come on. If somebody don't make this a meme right now.
Yeah. No question. And so I had to work 8 to 10. Okay. I had to work 9 days a week, 30 hours a day. If I was tired, I worked. If my stomach hurt, I worked. If I was exhausted, I had to get it in. When I thought I made a ton of calls, I had to make some more.
Yeah.
And then guess what? When I fainted, when I got back up, I kept working again. You know, I had to become super disciplined with my time. I had to figure out, okay, when is the best time for me to do this, this, and that? And when is it more of an optimal time for me to do these other activities so that I maximize my daytime hours and my evening hours, right? And so I had to do all these things. I had to, manage my money, the money that the little money that I had coming in since I started my business, right? I had to forecast. I had to create new relationships. I had to nurture those relationships. I had to get out of the box, and I had to put myself out there and say, hey, I'm either going to make this work. I'm going to go 1,000% at it, or I'm going to fail, So it is what it is. There you go.
I have to go back to that part where you said optimize my time. I had to know how to optimize my time. Talk more about that.
Well, so for me, being very much a sales professional, the best time for me to make calls when I'm calling on other companies to sell services is during the day. It's 8 to 5, right? What some people do in my field, they say, you know what? I got to do these proposals. And they'll spend hours doing proposals, or they'll spend hours doing research between 8 to 5. And my theory is, do the proposal after 5, right? Because your optimal time is 8 to 5 to contact and engage potential clients. That's when you're going to make money. All this research, all this paperwork, you got to do it, but you do that after 5, or you do it before 8. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you knock out this research, you knock out these proposals, and now 8 o'clock hit. Hey, it's time to be in front of a customer, because my definition of work is talking to a customer or a customer getter.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You just said something right there. So you have defined work.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Because most people, listen, Erica, most people think they work and they're not working. They're just busy, right? So me organizing my Outlook and all this, that's not work. Now, should I organize my desk and my Outlook? Yes, I should. But I should do that at 9 o'clock at night when I can't talk to a customer. If I'm a B2B guy, right? That working is a revenue generating activity.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Right.
So if you're reaching out to potential clients or potential referral partners, or you're nurturing these relationships, that's work. Right? If I'm sitting if I'm doing a presentation, right? Going over that's work. But doing research on LinkedIn, that's not work. Now, should I do research on LinkedIn? Yeah, I probably should, but that ain't work. So if we define work properly, then we know, okay, here's where I need to spend my time. And if I don't do anything else today, I need to make sure I work. Because what happens is people do work, they do something else, and then they think, man, I'm tired. I did so much today. No, you didn't. You did not do one revenue generating activity. And then you wonder why in 6 months you ain't making money, because you're not working. It's simple. So once we define work properly and see, step one though is, like I said, looking at yourself and understanding what
works. The steps down. What's the steps? Come on through.
So step one, you gotta get your mind right. You gotta get your mind right. And listen, I got an acronym for this. Okay, it's called PhD. Okay, PhD. Yeah. So the P stands for psychology. Okay, get your mind right. We have to make the shift from employee to entrepreneur. Okay, which means you're gonna have to grow. there's some stuff that ain't right. You got to fix it. It's okay. You may feel bad. Go cry about it for 22 seconds, and then let's start working on it. Okay? 22 seconds. Okay, we can't do this all day. All right, we got to fix it. You can be sad. It's okay. It's okay. Be sad. But now let's start working on it. Right. Okay, so the P is psychology. The H stands for hustle. It's time to get to work.
Come on, hustle.
All right. Now, my definition for hustle, like I define work, okay, is reaching out to potential customers or potential referral partners and engaging them, whether on the phone, online, in person, whatever. Okay, that's hustling. That's working, and you must go crazy with it. Okay, so whatever you think is doing a lot of it, you need to double or triple that. Okay, so that you go crazy with your hustle, and then the D stands for discipline, which means you're disciplined with your time, you're disciplined with your energy, you're disciplined with your money. Okay, you're disciplined with your relationships, and so there it is, PhD. That you can apply that to anything, and you will advance. I guarantee it.
Wow. Let's just recap real quick. Get your mind right.
Oh yeah.
Hustle.
Yeah.
And actually define work for yourself. What does work mean for you? Optimize your time in doing the work. Discipline, which let me just say, people don't understand what discipline is. Everybody talking about boundaries these days, right? Boundaries are things that keep you safe. Discipline is the things that you're going to continue to do that is your own rules and boundaries for yourself. Discipline. And that's not, those are characteristics of a CEO. You talked about organizing your desk and doing research and those kind of things. So I know for a fact you cannot be where you are without outsourcing and delegating. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So, so here's the thing. Here's the journey. It didn't start out like that. It was just me. Right. So then, yes, I started outsourcing things. I started outsourcing cold calling. I started outsourcing managing my social media. I started outsourcing these things that, because number one, I found out what I was good at.
Yes.
So I figured out
that psychology, knowing who you
there
are.
You go. So I recognized what my gift was. My gift is meeting folks, getting rapport, creating that relationship, and establishing a mutual, beneficial relationship, and then growing that relationship in business, right? So that's my gift, and that's what I enjoy doing. So I had to understand, okay, that's what I'm good at. That's what I love doing. So managing social media, I don't want to do all that, right? Or putting together proposals, submitting paperwork, project management, man, so slowly but surely, I started outsourcing this work. And then when I started making money, I started building a team, right? So now I have a marketing manager, I have a marketing coordinator, I have 2 people in operations, I have a small sales team, I have an assistant, right? Even little stuff like people hit me up, every day and say, hey, can I get coffee with you? Can I meet with you? If I want to meet with them, I shoot them to my assistant. She sets up the appointment. She has my calendar. Boom, right? Because I do need to meet with folks because that's my gift. I'm building relationships, right? But I don't even want to spend time setting the appointment, going back and forth. Can you do 2? You can't do 2. Okay, 1. How about,
You're right.
So, it's about maximizing, my time, my energy, and all that good stuff, and being smart about, what positions I want to fill. So there it is. And now I'm still in the process of doing that. I just brought on a sales manager on my team at Mitech Partners. And, down the road, I'll bring on a COO and somebody that will be second in command, so to speak, and that will kind of run the business so that I can be out here establishing these better and strategic relationships for the company to make sure we grow properly.
Correct. Awesome. So you definitely understand definition of a CEO. I think people don't understand that as well. So I'm gathering from this that you've spent time with yourself to have the definitions which is needed. What I would love for you to give us some lessons that you've had over the course of your journey and your story.
Yeah. Well, I thought I gave you some lessons. I thought I gave you an acronym.
Yeah, you gave me that. Yes, you did. But I'm just saying specifically for, let's say, how about this? Define a stage 1 which they have an idea, it's a hustle, and it needs to move into become a business. Stage 1, and then advice for them, and then advice for someone who is stage 2. They are ready to invest in themselves, or they have invested in themselves. They're ready to scale. What is the advice that you would give, or lessons that you would give to each one of those? Now, I know you done dropped the knowledge.
No, you good. PhD. You good. You're good.
So, but I know you got some more pearls to drop.
Right now. I got pearls for days, because I live this life. Let me tell you. But I will say this: stage 1, you're gonna laugh at this, but this sounds so simple. Stage 1, Erica, is make money. Okay.
No. That's real.
It's make money, and here's why I say that. I talk to entrepreneurs all the time. I coach folks sometimes. I have an online course. People reach out to me and I say, buy the course. Because here's the thing. Everybody's got an idea. Okay. We have several ideas throughout our lifetime. Some of them are really good. Everybody has a good idea, a great idea, I believe. But not everybody will execute on that idea, right? But when you have an idea and you think you got a little side hustle, let's make money first. Okay, do you know how many people come to me and say, hey, I need to get my LLC? I'm like, have you made money? Have you made any money? I need to set up my website. Have you made any money? I need to set up my Facebook page. I need a tax ID number. Have you made any money? Do you have a customer? Just go see if somebody is going to buy what you're selling, okay? What you got. I don't care whether it's a gadget, consulting services, whatever it is, a book or a course. See if somebody's going to buy it. Is somebody going to give you money for what you got? And then when people start, I'm going to tell you, even in my business, I got a 7-figure business. I didn't even get a CPA to 6 months in, okay? I didn't. I was like, I need to make some money. I need to make some money up in here. Okay. Is this thing going to work? Am I going to be able to sell a customer and then submit the order? They're going to pay me. And because I used to work for Comcast. Now I'm selling Comcast as a wholesaler. Are they really going to do this through me? And is Comcast going to pay me my P? I need to make sure it's going to work before I go ahead and get a DUNS number. You want me to get a DUNS number? I need a bookkeeper. No, you don't. You need a customer. That's what you need. Okay. So I would say, in the world of entrepreneurship and startup, in the startup world, they call it proof of concept. Okay. They call it early adopters. That's what they call it. Do you have any early adopters? I just say, have you made any money? That's what I want to know. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I was coaching this young lady, and she has a staffing company, and we work in this business building downtown Nashville. And she would come in every day, and I'm working, I'm doing my thing, and she's working, but I would always see her researching or doing her social media. I would never see her like on the phone or in meetings with people. And I said one day, I said, so how many customers who are you helping out? What customers do you have? She was like, I don't have any customers. I said, well, you've been coming in here for months. Like, what are you doing? And she was saying, well, what do you think I need to be doing? I said, you need to be getting a customer. Well, my website's not where it needs to be. Do you want a customer or do you want a perfect website? Like, you need to be on the phone. I literally picked up the phone. I said, who's an ideal customer for you? She named the company. I Googled this company. I called them. I said, I acted like I was from her company. I said, here's what we do. Who do I need to talk to about these services? And what email address can I send some further information? They gave me the contact, gave me the person's email. I said, email that person, set up a meeting. And keep calling until you get in touch with them. And you need to be doing that all day. And guess what? She started doing it. She actually made the previous year, okay, when we had met, she had made $5,000 the whole year, okay? The next year, she became a $250,000 plus annual revenue company. Yeah. I mean, hello, because she figured out what work was. She figured out what work is.
She understood what work was.
Yeah. And guess what? And guess what? She hired a marketing manager. Now she got a marketing manager on staff. I mean, she outsources it, but she pays them every month to do. I mean, come on, this ain't rocket science. But what happens is psychology, we get fearful, we get uncomfortable, we don't want to pick up the phone.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the growth part where you got to look at yourself and say, you ain't got it going on like you thought you would because you're scared to pick up the phone. I thought you had it going on. You know, if you got it going on, you need to pick up the phone. You need to go meet these
I must say, I was taking me a nap because that's part of my discipline. 2 o'clock, it's nap time for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of how I have my life set up. Serious. I got to set up.
Yeah.
He called me at it wasn't time to get up yet.
You answered the phone in the middle of your nap. You were good.
I did because you woke me up.
I don't even answer the phone.
I'm like, who is this number? I don't know that number. That number, I got an inkling. I better answer this phone call because I use my intuition too.
All right.
I picked it up and I said, Bill McCleskey. I know what. I was a little drunk, and then I was like, let me get up and make this happen.
That's right. And the thing is, like, yeah, I mean, your nap is your nap. That's your structure. And that's what I mean by discipline. Like, if you take a nap at 2 o'clock, that's your discipline. Yes, if you get up at 4, boom, you get up, you get back after it.
Yes.
You know? So it is what it is. Okay, but let me finish answering your question.
Yes.
That's stage 1, make money. Okay, so once you got proof of concept, once you got some momentum, once you got some traction, and I do this whole thing where I tell people how to create momentum, sustain momentum, and advance momentum. Okay, so create, sustain, advance. All right, and I teach that in my online course. But sales is a momentum thing. Building a business, getting traction is a momentum thing. So we got to create it, we got to sustain it, and advance it in order to keep the machine going. But stage 2, when you start to want to scale and build a team and things like this, we have to do that by leverage. Okay, and there's several pieces of leverage that we can use. Now I equate this to saying, hey, if I want to go buy a $500,000 home, I may not have $500,000 in the bank, but I use a mortgage company as leverage, right? So I get my credit together, I got my job, I got whatever. I submit it to the mortgage company. They give me a loan. I put a down payment, but they give me most of the money as leverage so that I can buy this house, right? Then I pay the house off. So we need to do that in order to scale. So some people do that by raising money.
Yes.
They get grants, they do pitch competitions, they do all this stuff. And it's not necessarily raising money. That's just one form of leverage. My favorite form of leverage is relationships. Okay. Because when I look at my clientele, we got municipalities, we got a ton of hotel customers, hospitals, government, federal government, all these really cool customers, right? I don't know any of them. I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them, if they walked in the room, I wouldn't recognize them. I don't, but the reason we got these customers is because we have strategic relationships.
Yes.
And those relationships brought us the customer, and so I'm really big on partnerships and referral partner relationships and building those programs within your company so that you create a machine of attracting leads and attracting referrals through these strategic relationships. So that's another form of leverage. Now, another form of leverage, which is really key as well, which helped me tremendously.
You know what? I just got to say this.
What?
Oh, wait! Y'all, if y'all not paying attention to this man, oh my God. Thank Jesus. I'm learning so much. I feel like I'm about to go do something.
Oh my God. You up from your nap, so you better go do something.
I'm about to get to work. Okay.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. So, I just had to say.
So another form of leverage is really simple. And it's about getting around people who are doing better than you, or getting in an environment where people are doing really well, or have the strong desire to do well. Okay. So an example of this for me was I wasn't really a good student. We talked about going to MEGS and Hume Fogg and MLK and stuff. But what, you know, one thing that I'm sure did for you, that did for me, is that I was around smart people.
Yes.
And because, simply because I was around smart people,
I did smart people stuff.
Exactly. Right. And even better than that, I was presented with opportunities that I probably would not have been presented with had I gone to my zone school. Right.
Exactly.
So the same thing happens with entrepreneurs. So if we can get in organizations or in an accelerator or in an environment where people are going after it every day and having certain conversations or making certain introductions every day or every week or every month, then guess what? It's going to raise our level of consciousness and awareness, but it's also going to present opportunities to us as entrepreneurs. So one example of that as an entrepreneur for me was getting in the Catalyst program, which is the entrepreneurs organization, the EO Catalyst Accelerator. And this is a program for entrepreneurs who are making at least $250,000 a year, right? As an annual revenue business. Okay, so the business is doing at least $250,000 a year. And to qualify, you can become a participant in EO Catalyst, which is an 18-month program. Now, my goal, guess what my goal was when I learned about this program? I need to get in the Catalyst. How do you get in the Catalyst? I got to have a business making at least $250,000 a year. All right. Not profit, but just total revenue. Right. I said, I need to get my business to 250 so I can get around those people. Because some people in there are making 250. Some people making $500,000. Some people got an $800,000 business. Some people got a $1.3 million business. But they all in this room every week or so.
Yes.
And I need to meet them, and I need to know what they're being taught, and I need to be in those conversations, right? So I got my business to at least $250,000. This was back in 2016. And I got in that room with about 30 other entrepreneurs. And guess what? Within a year and a half, I was a 7-figure business.
Come on through.
And it had nothing to do with me being smart. It just had something to do with me being in the room and paying attention.
Yeah.
So that's 3 forms of leverage for you that I think that can help businesses scale and grow and help entrepreneurs themselves scale and grow too.
Thank you so much. It is now the time of this chat for us to take some questions from the audience, and we do have one audience member. So, is there any
one?
We got one. Okay. Now this was he called me, y'all. Today.
I called her about an hour ago.
And I said, look, I'm ready to go. Okay. And I know you about let's get it. So we here. So is there a question that our audience member have for Bill here?
And listen, while we wait on the question. While we wait on a question to, is she gonna put it in the chat? Are they gonna put it in the chat?
They're gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, so while we get that question, let me just say, if for those who are listening to this, if you see this and you're interested in the EO Catalyst program, you can go to EO Catalyst. No, you can go to eonashville.com. Okay, I believe you can go to eocatalyst.com too, and learn about the accelerator. And if you're in Middle Tennessee, this is sponsored by the EO Nashville chapter. So we actually have an information session tomorrow, and that's July the 22nd. Okay, July the 22nd at 4 p.m. Central Time. It's eonashville.com. And so that informational event is at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, July 22nd at 4 p.m. So come and learn more details about Catalyst. Meet some folks who have been through Catalyst like me. Meet the presenter who's going to teach those classes. Actually, the presenter is a gentleman named Michael Burcham, an amazing entrepreneur, big healthcare entrepreneur, has had a few exits, some crazy exits in the healthcare space, and he teaches these classes. I mean, how can you position yourself to get in front of somebody who has created, built, raised money, sold a few businesses, had successful exits, and he's teaching. He's right there. You know, you can ask him questions, you can engage him like that. So it's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs who qualify at this level to get your business from 250 or more on up over 7 figures.
The question that was put in the box was, how can an entrepreneur know that he doesn't have their right business idea?
Oh yeah, I mean, my first answer to that is, do you have any customers? Are people paying you? You know, and the market will not lie to you. You know, if people are scrambling and saying, "Hey, I need to give you money. I'll pay you. How much is it?" You know, folks are going to let you know if you have a good business idea, and they'll let you know if you don't. Nobody's giving you money. Okay, I was speaking at a local chamber event last week, and I spoke for about 30 minutes. And then I casually said, "Hey, I got a few books. You know, if you guys want to get a book from me." I left the books in my car and everything. I don't know what I was thinking, right? People don't want no book. You know, people want an audio book these days, right? Do you know what I mean? People came up to me and was like, "Yo, I need a book. How much is it?" I had a line of people, one book. I was like, "I'll be right back. Let me go to the
want a book. Yeah. I want a book.
My point is, hey, the market spoke, right? And so I think that's how you know if you have a good business idea. Number two, though, it's about research. You know, research your business ideas. See if somebody's already doing what you're doing, and look at how they are doing it. You know, how do they market? How do they go to market? What are they charging? You know, how are they branding their company or the idea that they have? A lot of times, you know, the idea has to be tested by somebody, and people put a lot of money and research into something, and then they also have to educate the market. And so that's what happens a lot of the time, especially like with companies like Uber or Lyft, right? I mean, they had to educate the market. Airbnb, their ideas sounded kind of crazy at first. I'm gonna let somebody stay in my house, a stranger, and they're gonna pay me. What? You know, I'm gonna let somebody jump in my car and I'm gonna take them to the airport. And you know, like, dude, what? That sounds crazy. So they spend a lot of money branding and educating the market first. So we just have to think about that and see if somebody else has already tried it and see what kind of feedback they got.
You know, you just said something, because that's what I find with lots of startups and stage ones is they don't do their market research, and they do not educate the market on what they're doing to see if their market will accept what they're doing, and make it look good, and then get case studies and testimonials.
Yep. There you go.
Speaking of that, this is now the time for you to do any announcements regarding Mitech, anything that you're doing, anywhere you're speaking, all the things that you're moving around in Nashville doing, as well as give us another plug for EO Nashville's Catalyst program.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mitech, the one exciting thing, I said the one exciting thing, something that's super exciting that Mitech is doing now, we just launched a podcast. And the podcast is called Tech Don't Sleep. So it's a podcast that's in place to add value to our target audience, which is small, medium businesses. And we help businesses learn how to grow their clientele by using different forms of technology. So again, it's called Tech Don't Sleep. You can find out more information about it on techdon'tsleep.com. And it's also on YouTube. So go to YouTube, just search Tech Don't Sleep podcast. We just dropped the first few episodes last month. And so we're dropping them every Monday, and super exciting. And we're interviewing like tech entrepreneurs and apps that they build and platforms that they build and tech thought leaders to give some real feedback or insights on how businesses can really grow their business and attract clients every single day. So check that out, Tech Don't Sleep. We're excited about that. It's a really cool initiative that we're doing. And it's actually sponsored by Comcast and Spectrum Cable and Wow Cable too. Wow Cable is also a sponsor of the podcast. So peep that out. Now, just another plug for Catalyst. We talked about leverage and we talked about being in the right environment. So eonashville.com. If you're in Middle Tennessee, come out to the event. You know, you can register for the event. I believe you can register through eonashville.com and just make sure that, you know, if you qualify, if you're at that $250,000 range or better, come in there. Let's connect, at least learn about the program. And then, you know, let's grow your business to get there so that we can sign you up for the next cohort.
Well, I'll have to say that I attended the mini catalyst. It was a couple of months ago, I think, or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I was in the room with Michael Bertram. Well, not in the room because I was virtually.
Oh, you were virtual? Okay.
But I asked the questions and it cleared up so much for me. It just busted everything wide open. And one thing, the advice that I give people is make your presence known.
Yep.
Everywhere you go. Don't sit back.
That's right.
Make sure you at least introduce yourself and ask something.
That's right.
No matter where you go. So then
you're
seen and you're known and people are like, yeah, I think I've heard of her or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's key. That's key, Erica. I'm glad you said that. And that's part of that, getting uncomfortable and putting yourself out there and making sure, like you said, make your presence known. So I'm glad you made that point for sure.
Okay, we got another question really quick before we get out of here. What is your best advice to navigate between business and private time for an entrepreneur?
Private time? I'm just flat. I was like, what is that? That's really a good question because and I'm gonna answer it like this. I'm a runner, right? So I run marathons. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And one thing about running is I'm actually training for a marathon now. I run it on the 31st of this month. And one key thing that I learned about running is, when I want to be ready for this marathon. It's 26.2 miles. And so I'm going out almost every day and I'm running. And I got my training schedule. The other day I ran 6 miles and I'm kind of winding down. But a couple of weeks ago, I ran 21 miles on Saturday, and then a couple of days later, I run 10 miles. And I enjoy it for the most part. Right? Sometimes it sucks. But the best thing about training for a race or a marathon or an ultra marathon is rest. Your body needs rest, right? And I recognize that when I have a day of rest, like today I didn't run because I'm running tomorrow morning. Got a long run tomorrow morning. I recognize when when my body rests and I get up and I go run the next day, man, I'm so fresh. I can run I feel like I can run forever at some point, right? And that's what we kind of have to do as entrepreneurs too. We may be excited about our business. I said work 8 to faint and all this stuff. And I'm not saying you're gonna be balanced because you're not. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. Ain't no balance up in here, all right? But you do have to allocate time for yourself, and I think that's what this question is referring to in terms of private time. And I don't, so for me, what that looks like is when I wake up, I have a morning routine, right? So I may do my devotion. I may do some meditation, some prayer. I'm on stretch. If I go running, boom, I'm out, I'm hitting it. And I may come back and do some more meditation, right? And then I go to the office, I'm going after it, right? And then even at lunch, sometimes I go to my car, I turn on the AC and I'm just going to sit there, right? Because that's my time. But it's all about discipline. There's that word again, discipline. Because just like I structure my day for business, I can structure my private time too. I can structure it with my wife. I can structure it with my son. I can structure it for spirituality. I can structure it for my PT, my physical training. So we just gotta allocate the time for it. Yeah. And my wife is good. She'll send me an invite. You know what I'm saying? Getting the invites, I'm like, oh, okay, let me accept that. You know what I'm saying?
She's smart.
It's not, because she knows I live by my calendar too, right? So I'm always looking at my calendar, what I have going on. Okay, at 8 o'clock. Okay, you want to have a meeting and talk about the money. Okay, got it.
They're not show up.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's key, and I think it's about discipline, and it is what it is. You gotta fire off on all cylinders, and that's why I love talking about PhD, because it's really about the assets within. We think it's about the skill and, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. No, it's about, if you're disciplined, you're disciplined.
Yes.
If you're disciplined with your business, you're going to be disciplined with your family, and you're going to be disciplined with your health. If you got a work ethic, you're going to work hard for your spouse and your child and your health and your business. you know, if you had the right psychology and you constantly developing that, you're going to do that in all areas of your life. So that's what we need to focus on, the inner ass. That's why I said, get off your assets. Okay. That's the key, because when you do that, everything else is gravy.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming.
You got it.
I'm just so happy to have you here. I would love to have you come back at some point if you would like. Thank you. Sure. And that's it, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for the opportunity, Eric. I appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
See ya.